In 1982, defendant was found guilty of shoplifting and another carrying publishing. In 1984, he was found guilty of assault and battery and disorderly conduct. In 1993, he pled guilty to operating while intoxicated, second offense. 1994, she pled guilty to assault with a dangerous weapon and uttering an.
This case starts with groceries, but ends with jail time. Meet Ms. Franklin, a tenant who says she couldn't get her groceries delivered because her neighbors blocked her in. Sounds petty, right? But it turns into shouting, threats, and emotional breakdowns. In court, she admits yelling, "I hope he chokes on his food." And that's just the beginning. You'll hear from the landlord, the prosecutor, and a judge who delivers one of the most honest life lectures you'll ever hear. Let's see how a simple delivery turned into a full-blown criminal case.
I need to get my groceries delivered, so I pounded on a wall and both the landlord, across the fence, and they going out and screaming.
So, at the time you were living over on Far Street, is that correct? And you said you could not get groceries delivered? Explain that to me.
I had to go through a company that had groceries delivered, and there was no way to drop them off to my house.
Okay.
There's too many cars parked on the side of the house for them to pull up.
All right.
In the walk 3 blocks, right out.
Okay. Oh, and then so what did you do when you found out they could not deliver your groceries?
Oh, my neighbor asked him if he didn't move a car up, and she said no. He said, "Fuck off."
I'm sorry? Is this like, I'm sorry, 901 Far Street has apartments in a residence, like a house? Okay, and so you left your apartment and went to one of the other apartments and pounded on the door?
No, sir. I went downstairs to look because the driver of the groceries called me so they couldn't deliver them. So I went downstairs to look why, and there was a bunch of cars on my side of the house. And so I pounded on the wall, hollered through there, "Are those your cars?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Could you please move one up?" He said, "No." He said, "Fuck up." And I went upstairs and I used to do it. And I told him, I said, "Can you just move one of the cars up so I can get the groceries delivered?" And he said, "Up off again." And I got me.
Okay. You got mad, and what did you do?
That one line sealed her fate. "I hope he chokes on his food." It's not just rude, it's legally disturbing the peace. Even without violence, words that threaten or alarm others can bring charges. What's wild is how fast anger can turn criminal. She says she was just frustrated, but once you start yelling threats, the court stops seeing annoyed neighbor and starts seeing public disturbance. What do you think? Just words or too far?
Brain dead.
Okay. And did this just happen all in one day?
Yes, sir. I had been getting along with them. It's just problem after problem. I should have moved out.
Okay. Then what was it that you were screaming? Like, if you please explain that.
That I hope he choked on his food.
Okay.
The rest of them got into car accidents and hit semis.
It's clear that Ms. Franklin disturbed the peace based on her yelling and pounding on the wall. I asked the clerk to issue an appropriate sentence in light of that. Thank you.
Do you have any information about her prior criminal history?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor, I am told the victim would like to speak. However, I do recognize the way it's.
That's fine. I'll let it because it's based upon, this is the landlord?
Yep.
I'm sorry, but I don't remember where he lives. Is he a landlord? Is he the tenant? I don't know. Thank you. All right, you may come forward.
Thank you.
Sir, you may approach this podium and then tell me your first and last name.
Bruce Jewett,
Spell the last for me.
Jewhata.
Yes, sir. What is it you'd like to say?
Well, a lot of half truths, what she said of her story, but I was been made up on her part.
Oh, the prosecutor's the one in charge of the case. This is what they think happened. This is what they've chose to do with it was a potential life offense. Go ahead. That's okay. I'm not picking on them.
Okay.
That issue would have to be taken up with them, but go ahead, sir.
Uh, what we're talking about is she's threatened me throughout that whole time of stuff like that. And holding on the wall and coming to a window and pounding when my grandkids were parked.
Mhm.
I had my grandkids over for dinner parked on 6th Street. She came home and Wex arrived. And she said she couldn't walk very straight into her apartment. She went off like a Tasmanian devil, pounded on my window and swearing at us through the screen. It's legal parking. They didn't want us parking in the driveways. They parked on the side, out on the side street on 6th Street.
Who's they?
My grandkids.
Okay.
Well, I called the police. She's doing all kinds of threats to me.
And you live in the same home, right? But in a different apartment?
Yeah.
Okay.
She lives in the front upstairs. I live in the back downstairs.
Okay.
As far as me blocking the driveway, that's so untrue. She had a vehicle there that was legal, but she couldn't get out, but we never blocked it. Just, I fear for my life because she's threatened me sometimes, you know? You know what I mean? I know where your friends live, all that kind of stuff. I mean,
When the victim spoke, everything changed. He says she pounded on his window while his grandkids were inside, yelling threats like, "I know where your friends live." That's intimidation, and legally, that's serious. You can hear how afraid he was. This isn't just noise, it's harassment. And when kids are involved, judges don't take that lightly. Be honest, would you feel safe living next to her?
she's a very disturbed woman and she needs some help.
All right, thank you, Mr. Jewett.
Thank you.
Mr. Carnes, the criminal history.
Yes, Your Honor. I would also like to thank Mr. Jewett for speaking. In 1981, the defendant was convicted of uttering and publishing. In 1982, the defendant was found guilty of shoplifting and another carrying and publishing. In 1984, he was found guilty of assault and battery and disorderly conduct. In 1993, he pled guilty to operating while intoxicated, second offense. 1994, she pled guilty to assault with a dangerous weapon and uttering and publishing. In 2013, she pled guilty to misdemeanor stalking. And in 2021, she pled guilty to malicious use of a telecommunications service. And in 2020, she pled no contest to malicious use of the telecommunications service. In 2020, she pled guilty to attempted uttering and publishing. In 2022, she pled guilty to operating a motor vehicle without security.
This moment hit hard. The prosecutor lists a 40-year criminal record: assault, forgery, stalking, even weapon charges. That kind of history tells the court this isn't new behavior. Judges always look at patterns, not isolated moments. And when you've got decades of similar charges, mercy becomes a tough sell. Should the past define her sentence, or does everyone deserve one last chance?
And that is everything I show for the Union State criminal history route.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Burdett, allocution, sir.
Yes. Your Honor, my representation of this Margie Franklin's, she felt that she was threatened. She left her residence, because of that getting along with Mr. Jewett. And I think when the court found her in contempt, I think the court sentenced her to 70 days in jail at this point. my client, but I would request the court do is to sentence her to 70 days concurrent with the original contempt charge. I believe she, this time in jail, she has a lot of health problems. She needs to go to Mayo Clinic because of her legs. And I know the court is aware of her various health issues that she's had throughout this case. And I think the soonest she gets out of jail to be able to address those, the better it would be for her health and her mental health.
Her defense attorney pleads for compassion, saying she's sick, grieving, and has already served time. It's a human appeal. Don't punish her, help her. He's asking the court to see the pain behind the crime. But judges have to balance sympathy with public safety. Do you think her health and grief should reduce her sentence? Or is that just another excuse?
Thank you. 1 second. I had a question for Mr. Carnes. Can't remember. All right, thank you. Ms. Franklin, you have the right to make a statement before the court issues a sentence. Is there anything you wish to say tonight?
Okay, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
First, I'd like to tell there's 2-year-old and your family members here for disrespect I showed on the debate.
Thank you.
I'd like to apologize to Mr. Jewett for any things I've done wrong. And yeah, since my son was dead, and I didn't realize it until this time in jail. I have a lot of guilt and anger about the issues, which I have to address myself in an appropriate way. That let it affect everything in my life. Well, Mr. Joe really did on the scale that I can turn it in my won't. I made him feel that way, and I'm sorry he made me feel the way he has to make me leave my home. I lost everything, my entire family, everything overall since the last, patient with the Mayo Clinic. It's out of state, and I went to go as soon as I can and not come back. I don't know if I ever see my grandchildren again. They were just adopted last week. These are my losses that I created over all this. I just wanted a home. I just wanted to be okay. And it's all.
This was heartbreaking. Ms. Franklin breaks down, apologizing through tears. She says she's been lost since her son's death, and now realizes her anger destroyed everything. You can feel her regret. This is what real remorse sounds like. Still, sorrow doesn't erase consequences. The court can acknowledge her pain, but justice demands accountability. Would you give her a second chance after hearing that?
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Carnes, I've got to give credit. And hold on, Madam Clerk, maybe you can help me figure this out. When were we last back here in court? Well, the court's not going to put you on probation. Now, it's not worth it. You've got somewhat of a criminal history involving a lot of stuff with crimes of dishonesty and other issues. And here, as I talked about last time, we had a trial date, and this court did a lot to accommodate every other issue you had in the past. And when you ran out of having medical issues, we told you to come, and you said no. I actually heard the phone call. So, you didn't coordinate with anybody, you didn't help, you didn't have to stay at the home. Wherever you went, you could have gotten a ride back here. Ms. Franklin, everything here in your life that I've seen so far is a product of, a lot of it is your choices on how to react to challenges in life. And I'm very sorry for the loss of your son and other challenges that you had. And I was very accommodating. The court was very accommodating with all the adjournments that you requested. And yet I'm pretty certain I've also heard where you continue to call the offices and clerk's offices to complain about stuff. I just don't understand it. Now, that has nothing to do with this offense, but what it tells me here is you will do what you want anytime you want to do it, and you will justify your actions. Even when people are polite to you, even when people give you graces, you choose to do what you want. Court sentences the defendant to a $50 state minimum fee. So take your $50, $75 crime victims' right fund fee. I'm going to assess $100 court costs. No fine. I'm going to assess a $300 attorney fee. Mr. Burdett's appointed. There are no supervision fees. There are no DNA fees. However, the court, based upon the nature of your criminal history, the nature of the repetitive types of criminal history that you've got, your non-compliance with bond in this case, the court sentences you to, but I will be concurrent, 90 days in jail, 6 days in credit, and that will run concurrent with the judges.
The judge's words say it all. Everything in your life is a product of your choices. Franklin gets 90 days in jail. No probation, no excuses. From groceries to jail time, this case shows how quickly anger can ruin everything. Was this justice or too harsh? Let us know in the comments. If you found this case as gripping as we did, hit that like button, share your thoughts, and subscribe for more real courtroom breakdowns. See you next time, same courtroom, new drama.